if it weren't for God that was on my side, who would know where I would be at? Second of all, I would like to thank the Harris County District Attorney's Office for doing the right thing. And now we can say this day that justice has been served. And I hold no grudge towards the innocent, the Harris County District Attorney's Office. I mean, it was something that happened, and I can't whimper and whine about it. I'm ready to move on and move forward with my life. And I mean, I just want to, first of all, I want to say thanks to the chief of the Houston Police Department, Art Acevedo, for showing me character, for extending his apologies to me as well as my family for what happened to me. I want to say that you showed me a man of character, Ace Acevedo, the Houston Police, chief of the Houston Police Department. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
So you just tell me what happened just before this. You got the ankle monitor taken off?
Well, yeah, I was subjected to being restrained of my, to be wearing an ankle monitor. And just at 1 o'clock today, I was allowed to get it cut off and taken off. So there's no more subjection to being wearing a GPS ankle monitor on my ankle. There's no more curfew for me. I mean, you know, it was a protocol that the Harris County District Attorney Office felt it was need to be in the beginning, but as y'all see, things are starting to progress and move forward. Therefore, I can move forward with my life. It's just a blessing, man. I mean, to be home for Thanksgiving, I had an awesome Thanksgiving with my family, and this is going to be a greater holiday. The Christmas Day is going to be a real, I mean, tremendously, it's going to be a blessing, you know, and I just thank God for being the light in the dark hole that I was put in and placed in and had to endure in. But God, I got to keep thanking him, and I'm going to keep thanking him because he's wonderful. I'm a living proof to anybody that need a reason to believe that God is real. Look at me. You understand? I thank y'all. I thank y'all so much.
So you don't want to harp on the past, but you stayed behind bars for 8 years. You feel like you've been robbed of those 8 years. You're never going to get them back. How did that feel?
Well, first of all, I mean, y'all keep saying the wrong number, and I know that it's not y'all fault, but I've been locked up 9.5 years, wrongfully convicted. First, me personally, it wasn't no waste of time because I had a plan while I was at the bottom. I was planning the plot on my comeback. I knew that this day was going to come. I just didn't know when. But God, he showed up in my life, and he showed out. I want to thank the Innocent Project of Texas once again, because out of all the people that I appealed my case, they denied me. I appealed their decision, they denied me. I went on and went to the Supreme Court of Texas, and I wrote my 1107 writ of habeas corpus. They denied me without a written order. Then I went to the federal court, and I did a 2254, and they denied me. So I never gave up. Every time that I got knocked down, I got back up, and I was strengthened by just being rejected. That was my motivation came from. And when I reached out to all of the outlets trying to cry out for help and get help, it was to no avail. Oh, but the Innocent Project of Texas. Jason Tiplitz was a student who was on my case. He worked my case and investigated my case and went over to Mike Ware, who is the executive director of the Innocent Project of Texas, and said, Mike, we need to look at this case.
My Jesus.
And Mike Ware took the initiative and reviewed my case, and he haven't left it alone since. And still right now, Michael Ware is standing here beside me.
Thank you, Jesus.
He been fighting for me for justice And I mean, success right here. We just thank God. We thank for everybody that came and contribute and did the right thing. Because there's no reason for an innocent man to be locked up for someone else's crime while the real perpetrator still roam the streets.
Do you have a message? Do you have a message for him, the man who now confessed to the murder that you were in jail for so long?
My message to him, the message to the man that they apprehended is, I mean, you need to ask God for forgiveness, because God, he's a forgiving God. You know, at this time while you sitting in jail, you really need to call out to God, you know, because I sat in jail for what you did, but I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him at all. I forgive him because he know not what he did. But yes, I do have a message for him. He need to read the Bible and come to grips with the Lord, because God will forgive him and God will bring him out of his situation.
Lydell, two questions. First is, you talk about the message you have for this man who's now locked up. But then I'm looking at you and your family, and I'm thinking about all of the men and women who may be locked up for a crime they did not commit, who may be going forward with Christmas and the New Year thinking, I can't see the end. I don't know what the light is going to be. What is your message to all of these people? Because this story, your story, goes beyond Houston. There are so many people and so many families that are going through every single step that you did. What do you say to them?
Well, to the families, first of all, you got to stand behind your loved ones who is going through the turmoil that they're going through. You must have family support. That's the key thing, family support. And for the ones who are enduring the situation that I just came up out of, my message to them is this. If you know for a fact that you're actually innocent, meaning that you didn't commit the crime that you are allegedly accused of, you got to keep fighting. I mean, you got to write all kind of people. I mean, anybody that you feel as though that'll listen to you, whether they respond back to you or not, never give up. You got to keep on writing letters, sending them out, and just praying to God and just trusting and believing, knowing that one day that he will deliver you from the pits of hell.
And my second question is, ankle monitor's gone.
Ankle monitor's gone.
You're dressed up. 2020's less than 2 weeks away.
Yes, ma'am.
Your future is,
Right.
what are you going to do?
Man, you know, I look forward. You know, God said he will forget the former things behind. He said, I got plans for you. I have plans to prosper you.
Yeah.
I have plans to give you a future, and I got plans to give you hope. And my future is just so bright, it's blinding me. The light that I see and the vision that I see that God has given me is blinding me. I mean, nothing but prosperous comings are coming to me. And 2020, it's a fresh beginning, and it's a new chapter in my life that I'm willing to start off in the right way.
Have you thought about preaching?
Yes, ma'am, it's inside of me. It is. It's a calling. It's a calling. It's a calling. It's a calling. Yeah.
What would your dream job be, and what would you like to pursue?
Well, first of all, to be honest with you, Miss Deborah, I'm a boss, and I make boss moves. I would like to, you know, own and operate my own business. That way I can provide opportunities for ones that's around me. That way they'll have a job to provide for their family. But yes, to answer your question as far as what I would like to do as far as work-wise, I would like to be in the film and visual production, opening my own, you know, film and production company.
What did you miss the most when you were locked up for 9.5 years?
Peace and quiet. Being able to twiddle my toes between carpet, drinking ice cold water, you know, just being able to get up and go to the ice box and get something cold to drink. Just being able to walk through the grocery stores and have a variety of items to choose from instead of getting the same meal repetitiously over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Being able to come out and cut the yard, just being able to wash a car. It's the small things that we take for granted, but you won't realize until you're in a situation such as the situation that I was once in.
What about your family? Did you miss them?
Oh, that's at the top of the list. That goes without saying. They miss me just as well as I miss them,
Yes,
of course.
man, that's
God is good, man. I mean, they know that I'm a strong individual. My upbringing, my daddy taught me right. He brought us up right, but I'm a strong individual, and they was missing me as well as I was missing them, but I had God on my side. See, when you know who God is, and when you serve an awesome God, the one that I serve, you would have to understand, and you would come to grips to believe that your situation would turn out the way it is today. I knew this. I knew it, because everything that they did in that courtroom, it was violations, lies, wasn't following the proper procedures. How could you convict someone who didn't do a crime completely at all? What evidence do you have? None whatsoever. So I knew right when they said we sentenced you to life in prison, you know what I did? I smiled and I turned around to my mother and, Mama, would you tell the people what I told you?
He said, Mama, don't worry, I'll be back. He said it with a big smile on his face.
Those were my last words to my mother as I was leaving the courtroom.
There's still, though, the holiday season, especially right now, there's still a family that's grieving because a man lost his life. What do you say to the victim's family? This is such a rush of emotions for them as well, I would imagine.
Well, to the victim's mother, I want to extend out to Miss Sherhan that justice has been served. She can now rest and know that justice has been served for her son, Aaron. I understand her anger, her frustration, her humiliation, her just being so bitter at the time in the beginning when I was in that courtroom accused of killing her son. I can understand her frustration that she had towards me. But now that the truth has surfaced above the surface, I hope that she see this and she realized that I wasn't the one as I was speaking from the beginning. And now she can rest and know that justice has been served not only for me, but it has been served for her son, Aaron Sherhan.
It's been a real difficult time for us, and I'm quite sure it's been a difficult time for her as well. I just would like to reach out to her, if I could just meet her and just have a few words with her and let her know. Because I know that she's missing her son. I missed my son for 9 years, so my heart really goes out to her. So I would like to.
Say you know what it feels.
I do. I really know what it feels like. I really do. So I just would like to reach out to her and maybe say a thing or two to her. I would really love to do that.
What's it like, though, as a mother to have your family with you complete at Christmas?
I know I said this once before, you have the praying grandmothers and you have the praying mothers. I am a praying mother, and I thank God for bringing my son back. I feel real complete that my son is here. I have all my kids, and we get to enjoy the holidays. That's really important to me. The holidays, what is the holidays without family? It's nothing. Now that I have my son back, I'm so overwhelmed with joy.
So while the family's enjoying, can we have your attorney talk about still the hurdles ahead?
Of course.
And
We got.
like, he's not done working for you, right?
No.
No.
Because there's still a couple of things that need to be done.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Michael Logan Ware from the Innocent Project in Texas.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming here on this Saturday afternoon. This is, really, it's an historic case. And I would say over the last 10 years, I've probably handled, at least 30 exonerations. And this is an extraordinary case, and historic, because this is a case where the Innocence Project of Texas, a non-law enforcement agency, actually initiated the CODIS search that has identified the man who's now been identified as involved in this case. It's the first time, to my knowledge, or to anybody's knowledge, that's ever happened, that a non-law enforcement agency such as the Innocence Project of Texas has actually cracked the case by initiating the nationwide database search. So it's extraordinary in that respect. In other respects, it's like many other exoneration cases I've handled. It's a case of mistaken eyewitness identification. We see it again and again and again. Thank goodness this is a case in which there was actually DNA that we could test, that we could reanalyze and put in the CODIS database. And, you know, in this case, like in so many cases, not only have we been able to take significant steps towards exonerating an innocent man, we've identified the actual perpetrator. And that's the problem with wrongful, or one problem with wrongful convictions. Not only does an innocent person get convicted of a crime they had nothing to do with, but so many times the actual perpetrator, as happened in this case, goes free and goes on, as happened in this case, to commit other crimes against society. So it's extraordinary in that respect. I want to thank Chief Art Acevedo and the cold case unit of the Houston Police Department. They've done a very effective job of reinvestigating the case, culminating in what's happened over the last couple of days. And I want to thank the Harris County District Attorney's Office, who have pledged that they're going to completely cooperate over the next few days, few weeks, in seeing that this exoneration process goes through as quickly as possible. I think that we could have the proposed findings and conclusions signed by Judge Powell, maybe even this coming up week. And I want to thank Judge Powell for making himself available over the weekend so that Lydell could get the ankle monitor off. And most of all, I want to thank the members of our team. I want to thank Rick Ojeda, our investigator. I want to thank Jesse Freud, who is literally working right now on the findings and conclusions that hopefully we can get signed next week. And I want to thank Chantel Wood, our local counsel here.
So how quickly though could it go before the Texas Court of Appeals?
Well, it'd be the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, and if we can get these findings signed next week, they can go up almost immediately, and then they have, you know, as much time as they want. Hopefully we can get the word to them that this is agreed and shouldn't require a lot of thought on their part.
And before we switch over, can you break down for me the criminal history of the guy who's now locked up for this? You said he had a rap sheet.
Well, you know, it's really almost too extensive to commit to memory. It spans over, I think I heard 7 states, 5 or 7 states, you know, quite a bit of it was here in Houston. I think he was actually arrested on the very spot where he committed this murder a few months before he committed this murder. So it's extensive.
Was this the only murder charge or
I'm sorry?
murder conviction that he had? The only murder arrest charge?
Yes,
One that okay.
as far as I know,
And
yes.
so, and he was found, y'all didn't have to look far to find out where he was because he was already in prison, correct?
That's not correct.
It is not correct?
No.
Okay.
No, he had picked up a felony, first-degree felony in Georgia, where shortly after this murder, he left the state, and or from what we can tell, and picked up a serious felony in Georgia. And there was a warrant out for there had been a warrant out for his arrest for some time. And so he was not arrested until here within the last couple of days.
And so why wasn't the DNA, like, what happened 9.5 years ago that the DNA wasn't tested, or what happened with that?
That's actually a very interesting story, and it's really what makes this case very unusual and unique. What happened was we got the original data from the original test. We didn't retest the DNA. We got the original data from the original test, and we were able to get that to cybergenetics up in Pennsylvania, a very well-respected company up there. And they have a software called TrueAllel software that a lot of law enforcement agencies use, et cetera. And it uses the most modern, up-to-date scientific methods for deconvoluting mixtures. And so they were able to deconvolute this mixture of DNA and thereby tease out the actual profile of the other contributor. The one contributor was, of course, the victim.
Right.
And then there was an unknown male contributor. And so that's what we were able at our initiation to get uploaded into CODIS to identify the individual that was arrested within the last couple of days.
So initially, the results just came back, and it said the DNA's mixed, and so what you had done was had it separated so that they could be
Pretty much, yes.
identifiable. Okay.
Yes, the testimony at trial was, it's just a mishmash, basically it's just a mishmash of stuff, and there was actually erroneous testimony in which they said, and Lydell Grant cannot be excluded from that mixture. Well, he is absolutely excluded from that mixture. And not only is he excluded, we've now been able to identify who the contributor was.
So they just had the DNA, but they never tested it, or?
They couldn't separate it.
They tested it, but they did not get any results that were of any use because it was a mixture, and they did not, I guess they did not feel at that time that they were competent to try to separate the mixture into components.
Let me ask you this question. How long has that separation technology, that exact separation technology been around? 1, 2 years?
No, longer than that. I'm not exactly sure. It's long enough to have been through a complete vetting process. It's called probabilistic genotyping. And the Texas Forensic Science Commission has signed off on probabilistic genotyping as the state-of-the-art way to deconvolute mixtures.
Just
Do you
the
think
that this type of testing should be routine and required from this point on in
Well-
those cases involving DNA?
Well, certainly in the appropriate case, yes.
So how long did it take them to test the DNA, I guess, the genetics company?
Once we had the raw data to them, it didn't take long,
Like a month, week?
a couple of weeks.
It's one of those things that you just like your face palm, like just a simple step. It sounds like in the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
Can I ask where the source of the DNA that they were using, where did that come from?
It came from the victim's fingernails, which is, in homicide cases, is a common source for DNA testing, particularly because of the nature of this homicide. This is Chantel Wood, local counsel.
First of all, I want to say congratulations to Lydell. This is huge. I think the biggest thing about all of this is as soon as the DAs found out, the DA's office, Judge Powell, everyone came together to try to figure out how do we get this innocent man, freed from his GPS monitor, take these restrictions off of him because we don't need them. He didn't do this. And Judge Powell did a wonderful job. In fact, as soon as Judge Powell found out, that this was happening and the other guy confessed, he said, I will come down and hand deliver to the company to get the GPS monitor taken off, which is, amazing. And so this is a huge, huge moment for Lydell and all of us. I mean, myself, Mike, Jesse, we are all just vessels in this, in this whole process. And so this is about Lydell.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so
Ma'am,
much.
could we get your spelling, please, of your name?
My
Can you say and spell your first and last name for us?
it's Donna, Donna, Poe, Poe.
And I think we might be good on questions, but I have to ask, did anybody take a picture or video of the ankle monitor getting removed?
There's actually a story. There's a story there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were out there specifically to do that, and they would not allow it.
Oh.
You can't go
And I
into
guess
the back.
They don't want you to know how they remove it, right? That's
Right,
Yeah.
she wasn't allowed to.
You know, it's really odd, because I've seen
I can
that
think of
done in
reason
the
why.
courtroom, you know, but-
Lydell, can we ask you to show us your angle?
It's free.
No more.
No more.
And it should be noted, as soon as we move,
Yes, yes.
And how old are you now, Lydell?
43 years old.
For 3 years young.
that's right.
Young, old, you know. I don't feel like it though. Yeah.
But we look good. We look good.
Yeah, thank you, Lord. God is wonderful, man.
Yes.
And I appreciate y'all, the press. I appreciate y'all so much. Because this is my thing. In the beginning, the press, the news channel, they pretty much made me look like a monster that I'm not. And I didn't have nobody to speak for me in the beginning, you know. And I sat silent for 9.5 years. And now the tables has turned. And now I'm just willing to speak out. I mean, I really believe that my story will be able to help someone else's story. And I appreciate y'all for coming out and, you know, taking y'all time out to give to me so I can broadcast my story on a higher plateau, on a higher scale. So I want to thank 11, Fox 26, Channel 2, and Channel 13 News for coming out.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Chronicle. The Chronicle.
Absolutely.
For real.
Not forgotten.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, wait.
Real quick, don't put me on camera real quick, please. I just want to share. So very quickly, Innocence Project of Texas is a nonprofit. Lots of people don't know that. It is the season of giving.
Yes.
There were no fees, and I know that Lydell can attest to that, as can the family.
Yes.
There are no fees to the family,
Yes.
but we can't do it without funding. Lastly, if you have space and can share it, this man, because he's been in prison